Hi, everyone.
Hey,
I'm Alicia,
and I'm Meredith.
and this is Summer is Fun, a Summer House podcast, season 8, episode 9. Um, Summer continues to be fun. I don't know. It wasn't like a standout episode, but it was bad.
No, but I did like this party. I'm loving the party themes this
I
year.
loved the party. We can talk about it, but
I'm
I'm obsessed with
I'm like
party.
living for the party themes this season. I'm glad they're back with parties. I feel like we
Yeah.
struggled the last few seasons.
No, this was great. But before we get into the episode, check us out on the A&M Podcast Network. We have this podcast, which is also a Winter House podcast and a Summer House Martha's Vineyard podcast. And we have It's About the Pasta, Vanderpump Rules podcast, and One Season Wonders. Please be sure to rate, review, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Vanderpasta. And join our Patreon, patreon.com/Vanderpasta. Let me tell you what you can get. For $1 a month, you get access to all of our fun pre-shows where Meredith and I and sometimes Sarah talk about whatever we want. Today I don't know where we started or where we ended, honestly, but it was
Uh,
fine.
we went through our weekends, and then we ended with friendship dynamics are hard.
Great, we did it. No one's gonna want to join for that pre-show. It sounds so sad. Usually
Our
we're like,
weekends
do
were
you
fun
get
though.
eaten? We're usually like, do you get eaten by a bear? And then we're like, and then we
Oh,
end on contemplating if the world is like flat or not. Like, I don't know what we
yeah.
normally do.
Well,
Okay,
it's real life.
so also you get access to any episodes we record early, including this one. For $2 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when we go back and we watch old seasons of shows, we'll do a Bravo after show, so we don't give any like spoilers away on the podcast. But since this is a live season, we will do any spoiler episode or any spoilers on the podcast episode. And also we'll say your name on the podcast. So thank you to Allie, Chris, Darby, Dee, Gabriella, Jackie, Jamie, Kirsten, Jennifer, Casey, Kelsey, Kirby, Chrissy, Lady Swamp Witch, Lauren, Lindsay, Robin, Sammy, Sarah L, Sarah R, Tierney, Tonette, Tracy, Ann, Emily, Gina, Isabella, Leanne, Lisa, Taylor, and Tara.
Woohoo! Thanks for joining.
And then for $5 a month, you get access to everything I just mentioned. Plus, when there are live seasons, I'll post for every episode in the Patreon and ask for your questions, comments, opinions, concerns, and we'll read them live on the podcast. Also, we'll pick a patron of the episode. So this week's patron of the episode, no one was really, I mean, don't get me wrong, love the patrons, but we have a lot of $5 patrons, and like some people I'm sure are in it for different benefits, which is great. But I try and pick from like someone who's commenting, and I looked through the Bravo stuff, like Meredith posts Bravo thoughts. I looked through our chat that we do. I looked through all of our posts, and I was like, there's no one new, so I'm gonna call out someone new and give
Yay!
this episode to Kirsten.
Woohoo!
So Kirsten, thank you so much. Come join us. Come talk. Okay.
Participation not required though, but we
No,
do
but
love
we
hanging with everyone.
encourage. We
Yeah.
encourage. Okay, so now we can hop into the episode. So previously on Summer House, West is figuring out himself and figuring out his future with Sierra. Sierra's a model now, and her manager tells her that she doesn't have any time for anyone. Lindsay and Carl are struggling and everyone sees it. Kyle offers Carl a position at Loverboy for the non-alcoholic line. Amanda's annoyed that Kyle comes home late. Kyle is lonely AF being married to Amanda, and they went to a couples therapist, and Lindsay has her wedding dress. So a lot happening.
Bombing.
She looked great. Oh my God.
Give
I
me
wish she
all
could have
the
worn it.
videos of that because obviously it never got
She
to.
should still wear it all the time somewhere. It was amazing.
What if she wears that as her reunion dress?
Honestly, she looked really good in it.
I feel like she should like dye it. She could like dye it a fun color.
No, just leave
Just
it
white.
and show up like revenge dress, but wild.
Wait, I would do that.
I support. I looked that good in it, yeah, I'd do it. Yeah. So it's Friday, 5:04 p.m. We're in a car to the Hamptons with Wes, Sierra, and Paige. Wes is back from his wedding, and Sierra missed him a lot, and Paige lets him know. So no
Oh,
secrets.
I love this.
Then we're in the car with Danielle and Gabby. Gabby's also back, and Danielle's pumped because now we got two single women.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Gabby wants some really good karma coming around to her because she sets a bunch of people up and she never gets set up in return. And this is me. I have 6 couples under my belt that are either really dating seriously or married. And I would just like to say that none of them have set me up. So, Gabby, I feel. Okay, so Gabby hasn't been around for a long time. She has a job. Her parents moved to Texas. So she's been busy the past couple weeks, but she's back, ready to be a mess. Also, her
Mm-hmm.
sister got a boyfriend and it's totally ruined her life because now her dad is obsessed with her own relationship
Oh,
status.
God.
And Gabby's just trying to do things on her own terms.
The last thing you need is like more pressure when you're
Yeah,
single,
agreed.
like to be with someone.
Okay, then we go back to the car with Wes, Paige, and Sierra. Sierra signed her modeling contract. She's officially a New York model. The contract is for 2 years and it's international, so who knows where she'll end up. And then West is also working at his job because he doesn't have one because he got laid off. And that would be really easy to get like back into the job market, but he's being humbled, and so
Yeah,
he
what
doesn't
a
really
hit to
know.
the ego. Because he used to work for like Bleacher Report, right? And he
Yeah.
was obviously like a personality, probably like on their videos and everything. And so you like, I mean, I think very highly of myself at work. That I mean, I'm not public like that, but if I were, I would even think even more highly of myself. That to not get a job relatively quickly would bother me.
Well, he didn't have the greatest time losing his job because
Hmm.
it's a bad market right now.
Yeah.
So it's not looking good for him. Also,
Also,
side
I
note,
just want to set the standard that like being on a reality TV show is a job too, because I feel like this comes up later with Carl. That I mean, what a win! He
yeah,
like got
but
this.
the whole point of this show is they're also working
Yes.
professionals.
No, I agree.
Like,
But like what a nice safety net that he had like getting this show.
agreed. It's a very great safety net. But also, so like if we showed up on the show and we were like, we don't have real jobs, we're just here to like, this is our job now. We
No.
could not be asked back. We could like not hit
True.
with the audience well. But then also, like, I feel like it is very judgmental. Like, even Paige this episode said something like, I have a job. Like, Carl's talking about how he doesn't have a job. Like,
Yeah.
you couldn't be in this group if you didn't have a job. They would look
True.
down on you,
They're
honestly.
like uh, even though not all of them are 9 to 5ers, but they have the 9 to 5 mentality of like let's get
Yes.
after and
And
hustle.
that's the point of the show. Also,
Hmm.
side note, I had a friend that went out in New York 2 weekends. Well, it was last weekend. So we're currently recording this on a Sunday. So it was the weekend before. And
Hmm.
she said her and her friends were at this like bar club and there was a line outside. And West showed up and he went to the
Ooh.
front of the line and tried to like negotiate with the bouncer to get in. And he was like, do you know who I am? Blah, blah, blah. And the bouncer was like, no. And so Wes had to get back in line. And then there was
No.
a girl that came and met up with him who was not Sierra. Again, I don't know who this girl was. I have a lot of
Interesting.
guy friends, so I
Wait,
might. And she
Wes
said
getting
nothing.
denied at
Yeah.
like with the bouncer. I love.
So first, I don't know if his new fame is getting to his head a little.
Hey,
Um,
if I was like a little bit famous, I would try everywhere
He
to
tried.
try and
He
get
did
in.
it. He got denied. He had to go back in line. How embarrassing.
Hmm.
But yeah, I don't know who this girl was. My friend said they didn't like kiss or anything, but it was definitely not Sierra, she said. So
Interesting. I need the reunion to come sooner and sooner because I want the like present day status of West and Sierra.
well, didn't they recorded it already, right?
I haven't seen anything about them filming the
I
reunion.
haven't either. They usually give us the seating chart. I
I
forgot. So
know. I feel like they can be the most flexible though with Andy's schedule because they're in New York. Like
yeah.
fitting in Andy going to like LA for Vanderpump is a little bit different 'cause he probably has to account for like
True,
three
true, true.
days.
But as we just said, they have real jobs. So he's gotta and he also has to schedule around that. So who knows? Could be harder.
They're basically their own
Anyway,
bosses now, so less so.
well, Amanda and Carl have to answer to fucking Kyle, which obviously isn't
Hey,
easy.
submitting my PTO for the reunion.
And wait, what is Gabby? Gabby she's not she doesn't work for herself. I think
Was
she
she in
still
like
has a job.
tech?
Yeah, I think she still
She hasn't really talked
has
about her job this season.
fashion writer.
Oh,
I don't look under the titles anymore.
yeah. Well, Lindsay's used
And
to say PR
Sierra
so
answers
until
to
recently.
Derek, the manager. So
Right, right.
also, who knows? But fun insight on West
Yeah.
spotting in Manhattan.
Got the present day,
So I don't know, my
what's going on.
guy. Listen, I would fucking laugh at him if I saw him get denied in public.
I would high
Like,
five him. I would just
nerd.
cackle and be
What a
like,
nerd.
nice try.
Loser. That'd be me. Okay, so now we're in the Hamptons. It's 5:46 p.m. Danielle and Gabby are the first ones to arrive. Fridge smells super funky, so they ignore it and grab wine instead, which is what I would do also.
Yeah, I would
Then
avoid that
Paige,
like the plague.
Sierra, and Wes show up. And Carl and Lindsay, and everyone's trying to figure out what smells in the fridge. I think Carl, to get out of that, he offers to bring up all the girls' luggage upstairs, which was literally so nice.
Did you catch that
Um,
comment where somebody was like, what did we do before? And Carl
yeah,
was
what did
like,
we
you
do
guys
before?
struggled.
But like Carl's always been here, so I don't know. Nothing.
It's kind of amazing that like Andrea is the one who started this for Paige whenever
That's
they
true.
were
Yeah,
like
he used to bring it up.
had a fling. Like
Kyle didn't
no
even
they
get Amanda's
yeah, they
luggage.
never got this treatment prior. Even
No.
people who were dating people in the house.
Well, you got a question. Did the guys see like the positive love Andrea got and are like, we got to do
Mhm.
that?
Yeah, the good well, and the good favor just like with the public, with the viewers.
Yeah. Like that's what I meant. Like
Oh,
we
I think
were
you meant with
like,
the girls in
wow.
the house.
No, they don't give a fuck about these girls. They care about the public's perception. And Andrea will always forever be number one guy in the group because he's so kind and attentive.
Absolutely. Can we let the rest of the men in America like in on this? Like, hey, we as a
Because listen,
public like things like this.
I'd rather, if I'm in a forest, be trapped with a bear instead of a man, unless that man's Andrea. Then I pick Andrea over the bear any
Oh my
day.
god. I will take 8,000
That's the only
Andreas.
exception is
Yeah. I saw a
Andrea
TikTok
to
this
the
week that
bear.
was like, wow, the delusion. I literally thought I liked a guy because he was polite to me. Like the bar is
Yeah.
in hell.
He asked me questions.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah, terrible. Andrea brings us tea and coffee in bed, and our luggage is upstairs without us asking to do it.
Yeah, he
Like, Carl
reminds
still
us
had to
like
ask. Carl,
how we
they
should be
all need help.
treated.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Just
If you
do
see
it.
luggage, carry it
Just
upstairs.
fucking do it. And you're right. The bar is so low. How dare I think
Like
this is so
only
nice of
Paige is
Carl.
on the main floor of the girls.
Literally, start moving, Carl. Also, what's Wes
Mm-hmm.
doing? He's just with the fridge group? Get out. Come on.
Yeah.
Come
Come
on.
on, West. Hop to it.
So Danielle tells us about her sex she had last night. Met a dude off a dating app. They just went to her apartment. Danielle, commend you. I don't want any men in my apartment ever. It's like the bear or the
that
man, you know?
and just like I applaud women who can just meet a stranger and hook up with them.
Same.
I like cannot get myself to do it. I like need more involved. I wish I like could do that.
I wish I could do it more healthily because I do it sometimes and then I feel really sad.
Mm,
So my
I
therapist
just
is like, stop doing it. And I'm like,
don't
but
do
sometimes I just
it.
do it. And she's like, you should stop.
I feel like Danielle
So
knows exactly what she wants out of life right
that's
now, and
it.
I
Danielle
love that for
knows.
her.
I'm sitting here
Yeah.
going, but I want love. But then I sleep with them
Yeah.
and never hear from them again.
Yep. Looking for love in hopeless places.
Whoop. So then Amanda and Kyle are here. So everyone's here this weekend except Jesse because he had a work thing. And then we never hear about him again for the rest of the episode. So it's 7:23 p.m. We get dinner delivered. Everyone's getting ready. Lindsay asks Danielle for fashion advice. So they chat a little bit.
Oh my god,
This
it's
is
like they're
Lindsay's
back to normal.
This is Lindsay's way of connecting with girls because she did it with Paige and Amanda and it worked out really well.
True.
So she's like, hey, Danielle, which one?
Yeah. And then because it's easy, that's like your icebreaker. And then you
Yeah.
can be like, how was your week?
Yeah, exactly. So Lindsay shares that her and Carl are doing good. Carl went to Ohio for golf and Lindsay loved it because he was gone. RIP for Carl being in Ohio. What a terrible state. And I'll say it.
Also, this is a fear of mine of living with a man being like, can you please like leave for 3 days? I need to be alone. Because like I love being alone right now.
But we know we're not. Lindsay very much loves the men near her.
Yeah.
I think it's that Carl doesn't have a job that he's always around.
He never leaves.
You and I, whether he has a job or not, we don't want him near us for most
That's
of the
true.
day. We know. We know
I
already.
just want like 6 p.m. to maybe 8 p.m. like 2
Meredith,
hours.
the people know. We literally talk about how we want to be roommates, but we don't want to live near each other and even next
Yeah.
door. Well, we want to live like floors away from each other, but we can't even do next door. So
I want that same energy with a
they
guy.
know we have commitment issues. They get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Lindsay said she doesn't need a lot of alone time, but she does need a little bit. And these last few weekends have been great for them. Lindsay has a chance to miss him. So great. Danielle shares about her date. She is also in therapy. So
Woo woo.
you know. Uh, Danielle's warming up to the idea of going on dates, but it's not at the forefront of her mind. She also doesn't want to be in a relationship similar to the relationships like in this house. She looks at Lindsay and Carl and goes, "You included." And I thought Lindsay was going to kill her.
I thought so too.
I was scared,
I was like,
but
the
she
delusion of
doesn't.
Lindsay, because they are on a high right now, but the delusion of Lindsay thinking she's like a relationship to aspire to be, you're like knocking her off her like fairy tale right
Well,
now.
Colin and Amanda aren't doing great.
No, 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 no. Nobody in this house is doing
Lindsay
great.
and Carl are doing great. I would say Paige and Craig are doing fine, but I don't think that's what Danielle wants. So she also just doesn't want that.
I
Wes and
agree.
Sierra aren't sleeping together, so we know she definitely doesn't want
Nope.
that one either. So basically,
She's like, I will be
it's
alone.
rough. But Danielle right now is concerned about her friendships, her family, her work, and the occasional Bane. So whatever, she's back. She
she's
knows
got her
what she wants.
priorities in order.
Good, we love it. So, it's 8:22 p.m. Wes and Sierra are hanging out in Sierra's room. They play that TikTok game where they're like, they have to guess the same word. And Meredith, I was for a second like, could we do this? And I was
Ooh,
like,
we should try
probably
to
not.
do that on a pre-show. But I also wish they would have given us the word count on how many rounds they had to go to get this.
I mean, they were having fun with it. It was a fun
Mhm.
game. I think this game's hilarious.
Yeah, it's
So,
cute.
then Amanda and Kyle, they're on a better path this weekend. They had their therapy, but it wasn't a couple therapist. It was like a relationship coach, right? So
Hmm.
they had a coaching session.
Yes.
Amanda feels better. They both need to just meet each other in the middle, and they're focusing on enjoying each other.
That's a good
Great.
idea. That's a great way to start.
It's great, hopefully. So we do dinner and now it's time to go out and send it. So it's 10:16 p.m. We are at the bar sending it. Gabby is feeling this scene of people because they're just closer to her age, which I totally get because if I have to go to a club with 22-year-olds, I'm literally dying inside.
Where I live in Chicago is near like a university here, and so I just feel like there's teeny boppers all around me, and I like that's how I feel all the time. Is
Yeah.
I just feel like a grandma at bars
One
these days.
one time in that area, I went out with my friends and a guy comes over and starts hitting on me.
Oh
And I
God.
go, "How old are you?" And he goes, 22. And I go, I was like, "I'm your grandma." And he's like, "How old are you?" And I was like, 27. And he was like, "That's not that old." And I was like, "I want to die. Have a good
When I
night."
was 22, 27 was very old to me.
I was like, "I'm almost 30. Get away from me."
Get away.
So we're all pulling though for Gabby to pull a Jesse and sleep with a guy and then never talk to him again. So here's to Gabby. Sierra is really feeling West, and Paige and Amanda are talking about it, and Sierra overhears nasty girls talking about her
I can
right in
hear
front of her.
you.
Wes tells Lindsay him and Sierra are just cute. They're just feeling each other, but Sierra is a very slow burn. And Lindsay asks if Wes sees this going past the summer. And Wes says yes, but he has to see because Sierra has her modeling contract and she's going to be out of the country. We're going to see what happens, which I don't think that's should be the main thing. But what do I
Well,
know?
that could throw a wrench into it. Like, here's the thing: if they haven't slept together and then she goes to Europe for like 3 months, it'll fizzle.
I mean, yes, but also is she immediately going to Europe? She's just starting to be a model.
Yeah, but she said she would like
No, yes.
split her time between the two places,
We
and I feel
also
like
don't know anything though. Derek just told us immediately you have to dump all your friends. And now Sierra's like, now I'm international. We actually don't know anything.
I know. I don't know like the modeling circuit, but that Gabby girl from Winter House like spends a lot of time in Italy. So I'm just
Who the
going off
fuck
of
is
her
Gabby from
Instagram.
Winter House?
From the first season, like curly hair. She was really quiet.
Who? What?
If they're not a main cast member, you don't remember
Hang
that, but
on,
I think
wait.
other people will.
Wait, I have
Her last
to.
name starts with
Yeah.
like a K, like Kearney or maybe.
Winter House. Oh, she was trying to hook up with Luke.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I kind of forgot about that. She's in Italy all the time modeling, so I just
Wes doesn't
that's
have a
what in my
job. He could
mind.
go to Italy too. What's the
True.
issue? So whatever. So then Danielle's on the prowl for Gabby. Good, great. Paige and Kyle and Danielle take a quick beat out or like at some table. Kyle says summer vibes are high, but he wishes Craig was here more. And Paige is like, same, because he's my friend. And Danielle was like, your friend? And
I
Paige was
thought
like,
this was
no.
so
Well, Paige
cute.
was like, I love him, but he's my best friend. And I was like,
My
that's really cute. I
God.
love.
And like
And
when
then
you're like having fun at a club, like you want to be with like friend side of the
yeah,
boyfriend. Like
you
the
don't want to be
vibes
with
are
a
high. Like we want,
boyfriend.
yeah.
Yeah, I thought this was cute.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle says he does worry though because he picked up on some uncertainty with Craig, and he's like, what's your intention basically with Craig? And Paige is like, I don't feel like I'm stringing him along because like I'm gonna get married to him, but it's gonna be on my terms, and if that's not
Mm-hmm.
okay, then
You can
okay,
leave. Yeah.
yeah. And Danielle comes in hot and says, Paige has Craig's balls on the mantle. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay. And so Danielle says there's something holding Paige back and she doesn't know what it is. And then Danielle says, quote, I'm going to be real with you. I think you're giving him nothing. And we cut to a commercial break and I thought Paige
Like,
was fuming, but I
what?
do think she handles herself like very
Oh,
best, the best way
absolutely. I
possible.
also don't think she gives a shit what Danielle says.
Well, I was kind of like, what's Danielle's issue? Is she just so anti-relationship because Robert?
That's a good perspective. I never really thought about that. I was confused why Danielle like was really speaking on this. I was thinking back to last episode, like Kyle's the one who had the conversation with Craig. Like I don't ever remember
Yes.
Danielle like being anywhere
I
near
think
that.
Danielle was around for the situation where Craig was like, I've offered to help with her apartment. And Paige was like, no,
Hmm.
I'm not going to have you do that. So I don't know. I think it's different minds. I'm with
Yeah.
Paige. I financially don't want to be responsible on a man.
No.
Danielle moved
And
in with Robert after less than a year, I think. So, like,
that's true.
I
But
don't know
like
if
to
that's
say
it.
you give him nothing is such a strong stance. I was like, what?
Yeah, that's crazy. I don't think Danielle watched Southern Charm because Paige gave him reassurance.
Right? And like the storyline on both of those shows, like as Craig and Paige have been dating, is kind of Craig coming down like to reality of like what it means to be in a long-term relationship and get married and like the expectations and what like realistic expectations rather than the fairy tale of it all of like we
Yeah,
date for a year to 2 years and then we immediately get married. It's more so like let's make sure we're prepared and like let's live the life we want to live rather than just
yeah,
be on a timeline for other people.
yeah. So Danielle obviously doesn't know what she's talking about, but
No
she
clue
keeps
what's going
talking.
on.
And
Yeah.
Danielle
Yeah, she has very
says,
strong opinions.
oh, she keeps going. She says, is this a forever guy or are you a badass bitch who's doing her own thing and he's really good for right now? And Paige goes back and says, like, she doesn't feel like that, but she's not the type of girl to keep reassuring Craig of all
Yeah.
his insecurities, which she has said multiple times and has said, Craig, you're welcome to leave if that's not what you're looking for.
Hmm.
And Danielle's like, he wants you to reassure him. And Paige is like, you're right, and I'm not gonna do it. So what? Craig can leave. Craig's a giant man child. He can leave if he wants.
Yeah, but
You
like
know.
Paige has reassured him at times. Like she's not going to
And
do it every
that's why
day.
he's in reality now with Kyle. And
Yes.
he's like, there's a realistic chance it doesn't work out. And if that happens, I'll move on.
I'll figure it out. Yeah.
So
I
Paige
just
knows Danielle always wants to tell other people when they're acting poorly. But Danielle doesn't really look at herself in the mirror, which we know because we have to watch
Ooh.
Danielle and it's like us looking in the mirror. So I fucking get
Oh.
it. But then the conversation ends when Amanda shows her nipple. So thank God for Amanda.
I am like
So
shooketh by this conversation. Between the three of them, anyways. Like, how did we get these three sitting
I
at a
don't know.
table? But especially Danielle having these opinions. I have a lot of opinions. I mean, we have a whole podcast on it, but like be an adult and like talk behind people's backs. That's what my cousin said about a family member recently. I'm like, I agree. Can we get back to talking behind people's backs? We don't need to say everything to somebody's face.
Yeah. Also, I do think we've said this before. Kyle and Danielle are two of the top hit the beats people.
Mm-hmm.
So when they're together, they bring something up and we're going to hone in on it and it's going to be
Yeah.
bad. Never forget Winter House. I will never move on from this. When they're like, Casey, you said some really shitty things about
Oh
Sam.
my
And
god,
Casey
yeah.
apologized and they didn't know what to do. So they continued to house down on Casey. So,
True.
like, I feel like the two of them just, they know Craig and Paige are a storyline. So they're like, to get more airtime and just to get this out and
Mm-hmm.
we're doing our job. Like,
And
this is
especially when
what we
like
think.
Kyle brings it up, like he just had a conversation with Craig, so this is kind of more his bringing it up is more natural. Danielle's going to latch on to the overall conversation of
Yeah.
the
I
topic at
think when you
hand.
you get in a conversation with those two, you have to know whatever is brought up, they are just going to tag team you and try to destroy you.
Oh my god, my worst
You just
nightmare.
I think they're
New
just
fear
very
unlocked.
they know the job. They know what they're supposed to do and they fucking just they don't think about your feelings before doing it.
Yeah, Kyle's more suave at it.
I don't think so. Never forget the hey Jesse, you were hitting on Paige when she was
Okay, true.
Craig.
That's true. That's true. I feel like Kyle
I feel
has
like
more
he's less harsh.
conversations that lead to these topics though. Like Danielle's not having these conversations with Craig is what I mean, that it's more natural.
Yeah, I think Kyle's less harsh with it, but still not suave.
He
I
has
think
more
Danielle,
informed reasons to hit the beats.
I also think Danielle, to be friends with Lindsay, you got to be a little
Yeah.
unhinged. So I think Danielle is just unhinged.
Okay, I was thinking about that. Like the way Danielle and Lindsay, like, before last season communicate with each other are very like forward and like out there. Like this is a conversation they would have and they would not be offended. But this is not how everybody communicates.
I think they understand like you're on a show, we got to hit the beats and also we're just like intense people kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. Whereas Paige is the type to be like, hey, I brought this up to Amanda. I'm bringing it up to you. Are you
Yeah.
sure you want to get married? Paige is a girl's girl. Danielle and Lindsay are girlfriends, but I wouldn't say they look out for girls first.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
That's a good way to put it.
that's it. So I don't think Danielle's doing anything out of character, but I think
No.
Danielle's not appropriate.
Their like communication styles are vastly different here.
It's like a Lynn. The more I see her, the more Lindsay-ish she kind of
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Yes. This
So
this season and this episode especially.
it's listen, Winter House was not great, but also
No.
this. We know her to be sorry, I'm just going off. We know her to be
Go for
so
it.
forward. She goes up to guys all the time and what is like, are you sleeping over tonight or not? Right? Like she's just so Paige with Paige, she's like, I think you're fucking up Craig. And Paige is like, what the fuck?
Oh my
Different
god.
personalities. Anyway, so at 2:33 we get back to the house. My girl Gabby, she launches herself onto this couch and she flips right on over. And it's the
Oh my
funniest thing
god.
in the whole world, but she
I
did
was
knock over
waiting
the table.
I was waiting for her to fuck up her ankle and have to be in a boot. We know what that's
Oh
like.
my god, I wish. No, I don't wish, but
No.
also like twins, like um Carl Gross kisses Lindsay's toesies.
Hated that. You live to fight another day. I feel like that's what he said or something. Like, you
Yeah.
survived.
Yeah, you
Do not
survived your
talk to my feet.
heels.
Don't.
Ugh.
Ick.
And then Gabby falls off the kitchen stool. She's
I.
trying so hard. She's just trying. She's trying. And then we have kitchen party. So everyone's dancing, hanging out in the kitchen.
Mhm.
Then we all go to bed. Kyle or Amanda looks at Kyle and was like, we will never be out this late again. This is it for you. And he loves Amanda going hard because he knows it's for him. And he
Mhm.
remembers what it's like for them to operate as a team. To which I'm like, then you need to operate as a team and sober in nights too.
Yeah, I think they
She's
both need to give a little. Like,
mhm.
we do not need to be staying out till like 4 or 5 a.m., but I think Amanda needs to go out with Kyle sometimes. And maybe he'll like leave sooner because you guys had a really fun night
Amanda's there to
and
be
he
like, let's
gets,
go.
yeah.
Yeah. Danielle is hammered. Wes is in Sierra's room, but she showers and she's like, you should also shower. So they go into Wes's room together. And they have a little sleepover. And then we cut
Cute.
to Kyle, who wants to cuddle, and Amanda definitely doesn't. She just goes, you're funny, and like leaves it there.
I love how she's like scrolling her phone and she's like,
Yeah,
oh, we're ready
you're
for bed. Like,
funny.
don't touch me.
Yeah,
This is
bye.
marriage.
So it's Saturday, 10:57 a.m. The house is starting to rise. Paige is super hungover and she goes to hang out with Amanda. The kitchen talks about Gabby's night of guys. She has an unknown number in her phone, but turns out it's a gay man. So, but we hung out with a man, and that's what we were asking
That's
to
fun.
do.
And you know what?
Um,
Like, gay guys may have friends they can set you up with.
there's never a bad
It's all
time to
about
befriend a gay
connections.
man. Yes.
Mm-mm.
So Danielle got a few numbers and she's going to invite them to the party they're having tonight. And I was like, yeah, make it like The Bachelor. Give someone your rose, you know?
Wait, I would die. Danielle would so be the person to do that, like match with like 8 people and invite them all as like the bachelor. That needs to
Yeah,
be a party next season.
that'd be hilarious. They're having an alien nighttime party, like extraterrestrial type.
Yeah, I
It's
think the only
fun.
time we've really had nighttime parties is during that COVID season. They did that rollerblading
Oh, the
one at
rollerblading
night.
one.
Yeah, and then like
Stravy
Amanda and
had to
Kyle's
leave
fake
early,
wedding.
if you guys
Oh,
remember. That's what I
yeah.
remember. So Lindsay has a guy coming for whoever wants him. And Danielle's like, I'm a Capricorn. I'm obviously going to get him. And I went, what the fuck? Everyone has to stop. Bravo's out of control this year. What does that mean?
I think it's so funny how often this comes up now, and I don't know if we just like looked past it
Do
prior,
you think
but
of me every time they say it? And I'm just like,
well, I think of both of us because like I don't know what this means either. I just feel like I'm nodding and being like, yeah, okay, but what does that mean?
fucking Capricorn. I'm going to get the man. I don't even know what
Obviously,
that
because I'm a
means. Great.
Capricorn. I'm just gonna use
Anyway,
that with everything in my life now. Like, obviously, I'm a Cancer.
people who actually know are gonna get so confused and be like, that doesn't. You'd be like, it does though. Go
It
read.
does. It does. I mean, Mercury's in retrograde. That's
I don't
something
know.
other people say too.
I I have a moon and a rising, baby. I know I'm just going strong. I got cosine, co-star, whatever that is.
Cosine,
Apple.
that's math.
Doesn't matter. So, okay, so Lindsay has this guy. It's the balloon guy, Joe. He was setting up the balloons for their last party, their NASCAR party, and Lindsay saw a hot guy and she was like, clocked. Let's go talk to him. So
Mhm.
she got his number and now he's going to come to hang out with one of her single friends. Because Carla at first was like, you have a guy coming? And she's like, not for me. This is a good fucking friend. Lindsay, she's like,
Yes.
I got a hot
And
balloon
like
guy.
this is how I want to be set up. I want somebody just to
Same.
invite people to a party and be like, "Hey, there's a hot guy coming.
Low
Keep your eyes
stakes.
in the ear." Yeah.
Yes.
Don't I have been set up on a blind date and it worked out like fine. But like it was awkward. I don't want to go on blind dates. I want
Yeah.
blind invites to parties.
Agreed. This was lovely. And Lindsay, being a great friend, she ordered balloons for this alien party so that balloon guy Joe got to come
Was
back.
gonna come. Like,
So she didn't even do
obviously.
it honestly. Lindsay didn't even do it awkwardly. She probably was like, Joe, give me your number. We're going to need balloons for more stuff. And then she was
Hmm.
probably like, oh, after you set up the balloons, you could totally just come to our party.
Yep, because then if it sucks, it's like you don't have to talk to him and he'll probably just leave.
Yeah, we just invited balloon guy Joe. So, great. The party's not till night, so we get to have a pool day. Wes talks with Amanda and Paige. He's asking like, "Hey, when you guys were single, when did you hook up on the first date?" And Amanda's like, "I don't bang until the second or third date." And I also don't do this as
Me
Alicia. This is
too.
yeah.
It
And
takes
she's
me a
like,
while. I need time.
"Well, I definitely need you to work for it. Like, if we're actually gonna date, and I kind of
Yeah.
like you, I want to like get to know you." Wes says with him and Sierra, this is weekend 6 and we're 2 dates in. I think they like hang out more, but no, don't like date more, you know?
And that
That's
Okay,
honestly better for me, but I get it.
if this were real life, no cameras, no show, I think this would also be different. But they spend a majority of their time on camera in a house full of like people that like a lot nobody like hooks up on camera anymore.
I agree. I think if it was not a summer house filmed thing, they would have already hooked up. I also think if the Austin thing didn't happen, they would have already hooked up.
Yeah.
So I get it. But
There's nuances to it where it's
yeah.
like this is very
I
justified.
get Sierra holding out. I get Wes being like, when's the next step?
Yeah, Wes is also
But
just not used to this world. This is his first summer in it.
yeah. So Wes is worried because now usually he's like made at home. But him and Sierra are more than friends. But I don't know. He's just trying to figure it out. Also, Sierra normally goes for older men. And Wes also doesn't have a job. So
I
he's a little
literally, and he does
different.
the like,
He's like, sorry. Um, so Wes is following Sierra's lead, but now sleeping together is going to be a big deal because they took so long and everyone in the house knows about it. And I was like, that's the horrifying part. Now,
yes. That's what I get myself into sometimes where I'm like, I'm not ready, but then when I'm ready, I feel like sometimes I overthink it, and then you get to this period, and you're like, well, now it's even more
like
stressful.
at this point, we're virgins for life together because it's too
Virgins
awkward.
for life.
It's too awkward. Okay, so now it's Saturday, 1:07 p.m. Pool day continues. Danielle is giving her club men that she met information for the party. And she's sitting down with Carl and she asks how him and Lindsay are doing. And he's like, we've been doing great for the past 2 weeks. We're getting
We're
married in
doing
a few
really
months,
great.
but
No,
two
we broke
weeks
Friday Night Fight. Like,
for 2 weeks, two
we
whole
wow,
weeks.
new record unlocked in the summer house.
But Carl is glad Lindsay and Danielle are in a good place, and he's excited that Danielle's going to be at the wedding. And Danielle says, Carl, it was so fun at the club last night. And she's happy he's letting himself have fun and be happy without drinking because last summer he probably didn't know that boundary. So now he's here and he's having a great time.
I also
And
think that's a thing that drunk Lindsay doesn't really realize that like Carl's not on drugs, he's not on substances. I think he's just like way more comfortable in his sobriety. What is he like 2 years in now?
yeah, I think his brother died in the COVID one,
And this is season 8.
right? Because they were in that other house.
I think
No?
season 5 was COVID, so he's coming up on his
So season 6,
third
maybe?
year.
I don't know.
I don't know. It's hard. I think
He
it's
didn't.
his third year because Lindsay and no.
Well, he wasn't sober right away.
No, that's true. I think it's his second year sober.
Okay, yeah. That's
Like
what I
in the
also think.
fall
I think he did on and off before. Like one
for
night
that
he was
first
drunk.
year.
Yeah, and one night he
Yeah.
wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't know for sure though. What
That's true. I
who
don't know
asked
what his
me?
like I don't want to call it birthday, but like his sobriety date is. But I
Yeah,
feel like it's been about 2 years. So he's probably like settling in for the
well,
first time.
Lindsay was sober with him at the beginning.
Yeah.
They kind of got together ish, Amanda and Kyle's wedding, let's say, because that's when she declared feelings. So that summer
Yeah.
before, I think he was on and off drinking or like flirting with sobriety, if that makes sense.
I agree. And I think Amanda and Kyle, it's their 2 year anniversary at the end of the summer.
Okay, great. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
what do we know?
I'm trying to do the math, but it's hard because I'm also thinking about the present day date.
I also just have no clue. Okay, so then Carl tells Danielle about joining the non-alcoholic lover boy team. He says removing himself from lover boy was really great, and now there's a space that he can fit in
Yeah.
at the company. But Carl hasn't talked to Lindsay about it yet because he needs to prepare for how Lindsay's gonna react. And in my head, I was like, first of all, unhealthy. Second of all, I do think Lindsay will react better because she wants you to get a job that's not gonna like bankrupt you, such as a sober sports bar. That's rough. Restaurant business always is really terrible. So, but this is an already like a company that's
Established
making
business.
money
You've worked
that
for
you
them
already
before.
came from. And there's a spot now for you because that was the big issue with Lindsay before is like he was sober trying to figure this out working for an alcohol company.
Yes, yeah, like this is aligned with things he has talked about in the last year, wanting to support his sobriety, and like this could propel him to still be a public speaker or to have a podcast, like this is in the line of things, that he's wanted to do. I
Yeah.
do hate that they're like, "Oh, wow, Lindsay's unsupportive because she doesn't want to be in a non-alc bar." I'm
Is
like, "Okay,
it
that one
is
made
it weird?
sense."
Is it weird? We were like, we get
I get
any
that.
restaurant you open, you are gonna bankrupt us for a little bit. Restaurants do not turn a
Yeah.
profit, and that's why so many of them go under.
And even like unrelated to the finances of it, like Lindsay was like, it's a lot of work and I don't want to like have a family in that. And I
Yeah,
respect
Lindsay's trying to
that.
get pregnant. So she's like, that's not great. Also, I feel like Carl's the type of person that he just gets an idea and he's like, this one. And she's like, have you
Okay,
thought? Have you thought about
remember
it?
how Carl or Lindsay said that Carl like bought podcast equipment and gave up on that?
Yes.
On the after show, Carl said that Lindsay went out and bought podcast equipment and she's the one who wanted to do a couples podcast. And like, he was like, no, I don't want to do that. And that's why there was podcast equipment. So he was really frustrated to see that she like put it on him.
Damn. She's
I was
PR,
like,
baby. How are you surprised? Shit.
I want more of that, like this type of stuff where they like say that didn't happen whenever we get to the reunion. I want to
Yeah,
be
that's
like,
crazy.
tell me what happened.
You know what, Lindsay? Do you, girl? Fucking get yourself out scotch free. It's not looking good for you, but good luck.
Buckle up.
The delusion of Lindsay, though, she's always happy with herself.
Hey,
She loves and likes herself all the time. So,
and if she
gotta give
wears
it to
that
her.
wedding dress to the reunion, at least she'll look beautiful.
Amazing. So
That's one thing she can bake on.
it's 2:41 p.m. It's time to set up, start getting ready for the party. I love that they all have to still set up their own decorations. I
Me
love that we bring them down to
too.
earth like normal people. Stars, they're just like us.
Well, like for Paige's, like nice dinner, like
Yeah,
fine, throw a fancy dinner. We can do a little bit of that, but put up those paper lanterns. Put them up yourself.
I loved them reading instructions, like fully just sweaty trying to figure this out.
Yeah.
So, Paige and Amanda obviously sneak away to go lay in bed because they don't want to help when I get this. And they go under Paige's bed and like cover themselves up with pillows. But then Sierra walks in and in a second, she's like, I know that's you guys. What are you talking about? So then they start telling Sierra how Wes cried to them about not being able to have sex with her, but like obviously everyone wants to have sex with her, so it's not new.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they're talking about this, Wes is crawling in his little alien costume like into the room to scare them. And Sierra sees him, but she doesn't stop Paige and Amanda from saying whatever they're saying. But basically he scares them. They didn't say anything like weird, just that he wants to have sex
but
with her, which I
so
think
funny. They're
we all know.
literally talking about him, and he's like, "Now's the time to crawl in."
Yeah, hilarious. And he jumps up, he scares them. It all works out great. And then
They're like, "Get out of here.
leaves.
We want to keep talking about you."
Yeah, he leaves. Sierra's like, I don't even know what Wes wants. And she wishes she's the type of person that could sleep with anyone and not give a fuck. But she thinks sex is a very intimate thing. So she's not hopping into bed with anyone unless they tell her how they feel about her. And I think we can infer, and we hear Wes telling people he likes Sierra, this is great. But has he ever told Sierra, like, I see something with you further beyond summer? Like, I want to work at it. Like, what's your modeling like? I'm interested so we can figure this out.
Yeah.
Maybe
we're
not.
so quick to, and not us specifically, but in this society, we're so quick to just sleep with people, but we can't like bare our hearts to people.
Yeah.
It's kind of messed up. I mean, I'm not good at it by any means, but
Same. But I do think we are also like, oh, why doesn't Sierra just sleep with him? He obviously likes her. But if he's not telling her,
yeah,
why would she sleep with him if this is an intimate thing for her? I
I'm
get
gonna
it.
make this a new rule of mine and to challenge myself. Like I should be able to communicate with people like
They have
how
to be
I'm feeling
honest.
about them because it's not obvious. Like people can't read each other's minds.
My mom, when I had the sex talk, said that if I'm not prepared to talk to someone about how I feel, I'm not prepared to actually like sleep with them.
Ooh.
So she was like, also, she made
That's
it
a really
like,
good
if you're
rule
not,
for like growing up too.
there
Like
was
a
that.
good pulse check.
Yeah, and the other rule, just side note, was if you're not old, if you are too immature to buy condoms, you're too immature to have sex. And I went, oh, you know? So So those are my two that I'm always
Those are my
like,
two rules. I
right,
still live by.
still too immature to have sex, I guess, because condoms are awkward to buy.
Oh my god, no thank you. I
But
can
I
buy birth
have them.
control. That's my responsibility. That's my
You should
piece.
still have condoms just in case.
No, I agree, but that's his responsibility. He needs
I
to be
have it
go
just
be
in
mature enough.
case because I'm scared.
No, that's true. That's good. You should be able to cover your own
I don't
bases
want to
no matter
use the
what.
ones I have because I don't want to buy some all the time because it's embarrassing.
You're like, can I get a 150 pack, please? Can I just
And
get a
it's just,
giant
they're just
box?
under my bed waiting for him to be like, I don't have a condom. And me be like, no worries. There we go. Anyway, so there you go, guys. If you can't talk about your feelings, you can't have sex with them.
That's
It's
that's the
gonna
rule. That's the rule of the law now.
it's gonna bring Sierra is mother, and we follow her rules.
I will follow Sierra anywhere this season.
Same, I love her. So it's 3:13 p.m. We're wrapping everything in aluminum foil, and then balloon guy Joe is here with balloons. And he looks hot. He has his backward
Okay,
hat and he's a little scruffy
when we
and he
first
has
saw
his
him
t-shirt.
through the window, I wasn't feeling it. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? But then we got a better view of him, and I was like, okay, I'm on board now.
I like him best in this scene. I don't
Same.
even find him that hot at the party. It's
No,
this scene.
I can't wait to talk about that.
But Meredith, like you and I, we like some Midwestern workers. So he comes over with
Yes.
his backwards hat and like a shirt that's stained, and he is just ready to
And
work.
like he has like authority, like he knows what he's doing. Like that's
I
what's
know
hot.
balloons.
Like him like strutting in like meep, 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 as like a party guest. I'm like I like the energy he brought in
Yeah,
earlier.
he's a balloon expert, okay? The
Also,
confidence.
the balloon thing is kind of weirdly an ick for me.
It's weird.
It's
It's
not.
a weird ick. It's a weird. Gabby says something later that we'll hit on, but I went, it is an ick. I was like, you're right.
The minute Lindsay was like, "Oh, a balloon guy," I literally imagined a clown making balloon animals, and I said, "No,
Yeah,
thank you."
he's the
But
balloon
I'm gonna
guy.
try to push past it for the
I bet he
storyline.
could do that if he wanted to.
A guy making balloon animals, immediate ick for me.
I
Let me
love.
know if you disagree,
But
everybody.
yeah, it's a no. So Lindsay immediately is like, balloon guy Joe, what's up? How's it going? And Danielle's right there. She's like, Danielle, get over here. And Lindsay and Danielle are two peas of the same
They're
pod. So
lockstep.
Danielle comes over and she's like, hey, what's up? I'm Danielle. Like, love your balloons. And then Lindsay's like, Gabby, come here, which is awkward, right? Because Lindsay's like, no one else but Gabby, come meet this guy.
Yeah, but like it's better to have an introduction
It's true.
than just like him to be a floating person that I have
You're
to. If I
right.
have to introduce myself to him,
That's also awkward. But but I did also think like, okay, if that was me, I'd be like, what? How awkward. I just strut across and I'm like,
yeah.
hi, balloon guy Joe. You meet two people and it's the two single girls. How's it going? You know?
Also, I totally understand Gabby is like sitting over there and she's like, I don't look cute right now. Like, I don't want to meet him.
Yeah, she doesn't end up going over. She also has a cup of noodles, which noodles over balloons and guys that do
that's
balloons.
the thing. They were like, you're so focused on this food. I'm starving at all times.
I'm starving and also I look disgusting. But Gabby also a little too in the future for me is like, we can't tell our kids we met like setting up balloons and I was sweaty and gross. I was like, come on, just go over there and say fucking hi to the balloon. He does balloons.
Yes.
It's okay. What are you going to tell your kids?
About how this all plays out in all aspects. Because I agree.
What are you going to tell your kids? Dad's a balloon artist?
Has like really high standards of what she wants for people, which is like good to have high standards, but I think sometimes they're a little too high, or like her list is like too restrictive, and like she is worried about the story she'll tell her kids. Like you just gotta let that stuff go.
Joe, that's not a thing, girl.
You can also lie.
Literally everyone's gonna lie now that kids are like, how do you mom me? And it's like
on the stupid little app
on Tinder. Yeah, no, we're lying forever. So Danielle loves balloon guy Joe though. She's like, I already got 4 guys coming from the club and now I got balloon guy Joe. I'm rolling.
Yeah, Danielle's just excited about it. Like, and I'm like, let's get after it, girly.
She's a player.
Yeah.
Right? She's playing. She's got numbers going.
Mm-hmm.
So it's time to get ready. Carl and Lindsay try to flirt. He says he's going to have sex with her nice butt. Probably not from what we know, but just ideas.
Just them two flirting always gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, just the way it is set. I'm going to have sex with that nice butt. What?
You can say like
Please
your ass
don't.
looks great. That's
Great.
that's it.
Don't kiss my toes, you know? It's different. It's different stuff. So, house looks amazing. It's party time. Let's talk some outfits. Sierra looks amazing. She's like a bodysuit, but also an alien mask
I
that she
she is
keeps on all night.
crushing
It was insane.
crushing the outfits this year. And they even gave us that flashback to
Avatar.
Avatar last year, which I totally forgot about.
Amazing. I
Like
did too.
Sierra. She's
She
so
had Karma
hot.
Brown. That was a fun one.
Oh,
She was just good.
yeah.
She's just great. Okay, and then Kyle's like a cone head. Kyle looks
I,
terrible. Kyle's a nick of a man, but even Amanda also probably thinks it. So
it's so funny because Sierra and Kyle so committed to the costume. Sierra hot. Kyle, I'm like,
what's
appreciate the
happening?
commitment, but I can't. I can't look at you.
Yeah. So the party starts. Looks like a dope ass party. They got laser tag. Our good friend Chris is back. He's here. I'm happy to see Chris.
Oh,
Um,
Chris.
Sierra's manager's here, meets West. Fuck this manager. I'm so over this dude where he's like, time for me to grill you because I'm like Sierra's dad. Ugh,
No,
stop.
you're
Stop. Get
not
rid.
like her dad. You're like a similar age to her. You're not like you're 60 years old.
You're her manager. You're not looking out what's best for her. You're looking out what's best for her money because you get a percent.
And she's not like an orphan who has no family, and so like her business people are her family. She just met you, or like she just signed with you.
Yeah, weird. I don't love it. But okay, so then Balloon Guy Joe's back. He looks worse than he
Alicia,
did setting up balloons.
those pants an ick for
They were
me.
tight. Were they tight or was it just me?
Yeah, they were like skinny jeans with massive ass holes.
Yes. It wasn't it. He also has a very thick, what I think is New York accent. That
Long
threw me
Island.
for a loop. Oh, Long
I think they
Island.
said he lives in on Long, like he. That's where he's based. Is Long
Still
Island.
threw me for a loop. He didn't look like the type of dude that I don't know what looks like the type of dude that has a Long Island accent, but for some
And
reason I didn't expect it.
and remind me, he wasn't wearing a backwards hat when he walked into the party,
No,
right?
his head was
Yeah,
open.
yeah. His
Put a
head was
hat on.
open. I was
Grow
like,
up. Put a hat on. God, we don't want to see your
no.
fucking head.
You
Yeah,
don't
come
want to see your
on.
head. You don't have that, like, I know what's going on. I'm in control energy. Those pants, horrendous.
Honestly, I wanted him grungy. I wanted him a little dirty, putting balloons up. Like I was in it for that.
I thought he was just going to
Whatever.
stay. I didn't really realize he was going home and changing.
I know, I wish. He also didn't show up to party theme. Can we talk about this? I'm also very angry. He knew the theme.
That's so true because he did the
He could have
balloons.
just worn a black shirt and been like, oh,
Yeah.
sure, sure. This night sky. No, he did not show up to theme in the slightest. That's
He
also
was
an
in
ick.
a, like, light pink red shirt and ugly ass
I thought
pants.
it was light blue. Who fucking
Or
knows?
was it
It was
blue?
not it. I don't know. I
Either
watched
way,
on my phone.
some random ass outfit.
I watched on his phone. That's why I'm like, were his pants tight or was that just me?
They were so
They were
tight.
tight.
Yeah.
He can't bend down. Yeah.
It was giving Jersey Shore, like
that. Yeah, 2009 Jersey Shore though.
yes.
Like long time ago. So
Ugh.
immediately Danielle and Gabby find Balloon Guy Joe. They get him some alcohol. Danielle's like, hey, isn't our house cool? And Joe's like, yeah, can I see the inside? And she's like, yeah, come on. So Danielle, I think Danielle's just a player. She's here to play.
Well, we talked about it earlier. Like, she's so forward. She's like, that's just who she is. Like, she's getting after this. She is like, I'm going to talk to this man, figure out if I like him or not.
Yeah, great. So it's 7:51 p.m. Party continues. This is where Sierra's manager is like, what are your intentions with my daughter?
And this was, it would have been funny if it was like, he just said that and moved on. I feel like this kept going for like 5
her
minutes.
manager is so weird. I'm
like, tell me you want to be on the show without telling me you want to be on the show.
Yeah, I don't love. Joe, Lindsay, and Danielle. Oh, Balloon Guy Joe. For a second, I'm like, who the fuck is Joe? Balloon Guy Joe, Lindsay, and Danielle. The three of them are vibing. The three of them are hanging out fine. And then you got Amanda, Gabby, and Paige like sitting on the side. They get served food, but they're just watching the party happen. And Paige is like, did you talk to Balloon Guy Joe? And Gabby's like, I did, but Danielle like swooped in. we can talk about this. Hang on. Because
Okay.
then Lindsay joins, and Lindsay's like, Gabby, did you even introduce yourself to Balloon Guy Joe? And Gabby's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I talked to him already. But then, and Paige is like, Danielle's already swooping in. And then Lindsay's like, then we go swoop back in. Lindsay, again, is a player, as you can tell.
Yeah.
So Gabby's like, you know what's not going to happen is going to be me versus Danielle fighting over someone who does balloons for a hobby. And she
Which
goes, and
I
which
get.
that's the ick. I was like, yeah. And then
Well,
they've
I
already
love
hooked
the
up with the
energy of
same
like,
man.
I'm not going to fight over a guy, but especially
That's
one
it.
who's doing balloons.
Well, they've already hooked up with the same man. Gabby's boyfriend cheated on her with Danielle. So we've already done it.
I like
Here's
always
my
forget about that.
I had a lot of thoughts on this, right? Because I'm a big believer in not fighting for a man. If one of my
Agreed.
friends is really putting effort in, even if I like the dude, I'm gonna back out because like it's not worth it to me.
If you
Um,
really vibed with him first, though, would you say something to your friend like, "I really like him," to make it known?
Probably, yeah. I
Yeah,
would like probably if it was just like we're vibing and then I somehow was able to like turn to you and be like, I love him. Like
because right now it's just conversations. It's not like anybody's kissed him.
that's the other thing though, is like I get it because if it was me v Danielle, I'm backing out because I'm not going to deal with it because Danielle's, like I
Hmm.
said, a player. She's looking at her
Yeah.
numbers. She's ready to show up. She's on. She's here. Gabby's more like me. Like if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I'm not going to fucking fight over it. I do
Hmm.
think, however, if Gabby was interested, I think Danielle would back out. But she like,
Yeah.
but Gabby barely talked to this man. Danielle's the one hanging out with him.
That's the way they like the girls talked about it sitting on like by the pool is as if Lindsay brought this guy for Gabby and Danielle just clicked with him. I was like,
Yeah, I
Lindsay
mean,
just brought a guy.
I get it also, but like, so I, again, I'm a girl's girl. So if I have a few guys from the club coming, there's a single
Yeah.
dude showing up, I'm going to probably talk for a little bit, but then be like, oh, I'll just leave him for my friend because I have other options. Like, my friend
Hmm.
doesn't. That being said, Danielle, again, is not a girl's girl. She's a player. She's here to play
True.
this game and fucking get laid. She's not thinking about relationships or your love life or anything. But I
That's
do
it. She's
think
like prioritize she's so focused on getting laid versus her friend Gabby.
that's the other thing too is Balloon Guy Joe could be the biggest ick in the world, and Danielle would still be like, I could sleep with him. Whereas Gabby's
Yes.
looking for a husband, so she's like, I want to talk to him. I want to just have him one
Yeah,
on
but on the
one. And it's
flip
like,
side, I was like kind of shocked how serious the girls and like Gabby were making it on that side. Where I was like,
I agree.
who the like this guy? We just like randomly started talking to him. Like this guy's nothing in the sphere of this Summer House universe.
Gabby should go steal one of Danielle's club dudes.
Yeah,
I don't know. I liked what Lindsay said about like, let's go swoop back
swoop
in,
him
but
back.
I
Yeah,
don't think it was as serious as Amanda and Paige were like, they're not even giving Gabby a chance. Like, if you're interested, get in there.
yeah. Like it is not Danielle's responsibility to make sure Gabby like talks to this man.
Yeah, I think, and I'm just thinking this out loud. Amanda's been in a relationship the whole time. Paige
Hmm.
has, for the most part, been in relationships or had a man who's been openly interested in her on all the seasons. And then Sierra's been the single friend. So when they go out, it's very like, hey, we're here looking for Sierra. We're on the prowl. That's our girl. Whereas when
Yeah.
you have multiple single people, they're just not thinking about you.
True. Yeah. I feel like I
So
can
I
be
don't know.
Danielle sometimes where like not even intentionally like trying to flirt with someone, but you start talking to someone and you're just like linked into that conversation forever that I don't even think Danielle is like flirting that hard with Balloon Joe.
No, I think
Um
they just have like, we're probably going to fuck later vibes going.
yeah, well
Like,
she's like I'm going to suss this out, see what's going on and I'm going to mosey on through my night no matter where it takes
also,
me.
Balloon Guy Joe's a weirdo. We'll talk about it. But
I
to
cannot believe
me,
he's at
it
the
wasn't
center of
that
this.
serious. But I'm a Gabby. I get it. But I think Gabby
Yeah.
needs. I think Gabby
But
was
you wouldn't
fine
be
before
mad
Paige. No,
at Danielle, would you?
and Gabby wasn't. But I think Paige and Amanda being like Danielle's swooping. I was like, he's
Yeah.
just a guy that does
I was
balloons,
kind
you
of
know?
shocked by that.
Yeah, I don't know. So Gabby and Lindsay go to swoop back in, and this is where I don't know where Danielle goes to find the two dudes from the club.
Yeah,
So
like
she's
she's
gone.
good either way.
Gabby's not a player. She's not playing the game.
Hmm.
She goes, the guy, what's his name? Balloon guy Joe is like, with his accent, are we going to take a shot? And Gabby's like, we already did a shot. And he's
I
like,
was
well, I'm
like,
here
girl,
asking, I'm here waiting for you to ask me. And she's like, fine. And I was like, Gabby,
okay.
you hate this balloon man.
Yeah,
Stop
like
flirting with him.
we don't need to
I
fight
get it. Same.
over guys anyways, but like you are not even interested in this man.
You're not feeling this man. Also, he's weird. He's
Yeah.
like,
He should not have
hey,
either
hey,
of you.
girly. Yeah, when he was like, I'm waiting on you to ask me to take a shot. I was like, are you flirting, Balloon Guy Joe?
I
What's
was like,
happening?
Blue Guy Joe, I've never been honestly every minute he's on my screen, the less attractive I find him.
Yeah.
But then also I was like, Gabby, just take a fucking shot with this man. Like it's not that serious.
He's gonna look better after a shot, probably. That's why Meredith and I hate him.
That
We
can
watched
only
this
help
episode
things.
sober. Yeah, fuck that. So then so it's just Paige and Amanda now chilling. And Paige tells Amanda how Danielle was trying to grill Paige about Craig. And Paige let it go. But she says if they're looking on paper, Danielle has no job and no boyfriend, and Paige has both. So why should Paige change her life? And I was like, and this is where I think Paige scares the living fuck out of me. Because she's
like,
right, and that scares me. I know. I went, oh my God.
I mean, you're not wrong.
Listen, I think if she said this unprompted, terrible. But I think like Danielle coming for her relationship so hard, it's like, I have a boyfriend and you don't. Why are you coming for me?
This is Paige's response. Like you came for her and this is her rebuttal.
Yeah. So Paige says Danielle is so quick to be judgmental about other people's lives. Like, and Danielle can't shit on Carl and Lindsay anymore. So here's Danielle finding Paige and Craig to shit on. And Paige says, they made a mistake. We need Lindsay to take Danielle back. And I was like, damn, is she the villain? Is Danielle the villain now?
And this is where like some people are just different types of friends. And this is the first time I've really realized the two sides, I mean, before the Danielle and Lindsay fight. I always thought there were two sides of the house just because of like mean girl type shit. But to be honest, the two sides of the girlfriends like groups are just who you naturally get along with, and that's okay. Like this reminded me that's okay.
I agree. I think it's just who you vibe with, and this is why I was like, they just don't vibe with Danielle. Well,
we need to restore order to the house.
Amanda was even like, I get where Lindsay was coming from, and I was like, no, listen. Here's the thing, though. Danielle and Lindsay are such good friends because they are the same type of person.
Yes.
And Amanda, Paige, and Sierra are such good friends because they're the same type of person. That's why I think Hannah also had a hard time in the house because she really wasn't either one of those types.
She was kind of a little bit of mix of both at times. Yeah. And like,
so like
the reason it didn't work last summer is because Lindsay didn't like to get what she gives last summer. Like
that's the issue.
She didn't want it last summer. She wanted basically the Paige and Amanda treatment about a relationship.
Okay. Question. Do you think, because we know Lindsay can dish it, but she can't take it. Do you think Danielle can take it? If someone's dishing it to her? I think
both of those can dish it and not take it.
Have we ever seen her not be able to take it, though? I was thinking about this, and I was like, I don't know. I feel like Danielle could get shit on and just be like, okay. And we'll see next episode. She goes toe-to-toe with Paige, but...
That's true. I'm trying to think of a moment where somebody has had to give her...
I think that was it. No one did, or like, Danielle was coming for Lindsay and Carl, but Lindsay didn't go for her and Robert. And no one really did. To her face.
They did in the press. I'm trying to remember what that reunion was like whenever they were like, you were just unhappy in your relationship. Like, you were...
She was like, yeah, we broke up. You know, like, it was just not the right timing. But I think now, next episode, I'm curious to see her go toe-to-toe with Paige. Because she did dish it to Paige. Can she take it when Paige dishes it right back?
I don't think we've ever... Oh, in Winter House, like, I think her reads are just wrong whenever, like, she gets criticism. I just don't think she agrees with... Like... In Winter House, Danielle what's her name from Martha's Vineyard?
Jordan.
Yeah, like, they did not click. But it was a lot of Danielle giving it, not Jordan giving anything back.
I'm excited to see Paige give it back, see what Danielle does. Because if Danielle's quick to be like, you're right and I'm sorry, then like, oh shit. Or like if she's quick to understand, like, oh
Yeah.
shit. But if she fights back, I mean,
I think Danielle's
anyway.
also one of those people that hasn't, everybody kind of has an opinion on everything, but I think Danielle thinks her opinion needs to be said out loud every single time she has an opinion pop into her brain, where not
Yeah.
everybody else operates like that. So,
Yeah,
like,
that's definitely her.
Danielle doesn't get
Yeah.
it as much as she gives because everybody else has a
Yep.
filter.
That's definitely it. I also think Danielle's in a just fuck everyone phase. She's just
True.
banging. Yeah,
She's like, let me just burn the world to the ground.
Yeah, so we'll see. So it's 9:03 p.m. Party continues. We have a dance floor. There's a giant light that Carl, Lindsay, and Sierra get abducted. Lindsay loses her wig. It's very
I
fun.
I thought that was so funny. I love little bits throughout the
I
episode.
loved the bit. It's hard to describe and talk about on a podcast, but it was a
Yeah.
great bit.
It also went on forever.
Oh my god, it went on for literally like Sierra got bored
Everybody
and
was just
left.
standing there like, what are you
Well,
doing?
then Paige was like, "Was that it?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm." What do you mean? Is that it? That went on for 5 minutes on the show alone.
Yeah.
How long was it real life?
I'd be like, are we done
Um,
yet? Are we done?
I would have went inside to snack, been like, no one's
Yeah.
looking. Amanda that is very good at limbo. I am not very good
Very
at limbo,
good.
so good for Amanda. And then Carl and Lindsay talk. Lindsay is clearly drunk. So I was like, why are we going to have this conversation? I don't
I was like,
know, but
oh
let's do
no, oh
it.
no, oh no.
So Carl tells Lindsay that Kyle presented him with another lover boy opportunity. Carl wants to understand the arrangement more of what Kyle is proposing, but it'd be
Mm-hmm.
for the non-alcoholic line. And Lindsay seems understanding. She's like, okay, how do you feel about that? Um, and Carl feels great. He wants to just learn more. And Lindsay then reminds Carl that he promised he was going to have a job by the end of summer, and we got 3 weeks left till summer. So if this is the plan, fine. But Lindsay's attracted to men who are out there crushing life. And she does not think Carl is crushing life.
Which, that's so harsh to say to
Ouch.
your significant other.
Yeah,
Like, there's a way
ouch.
to say it, to be like, hey, you don't seem, so happy. Like, let's get you to crushing life rather than just be like, you're not crushing it.
Again, do we think Lindsay and Danielle don't know how to fucking communicate? They're just yelling at you.
Yeah.
So Lindsay
Yeah.
says their marriage is going to combine their assets, and I immediately went, "Get the prenup, get the prenup." But so will there be enough money if she decides to stay home with the kids? She just really needs financial security, which I don't think Lindsay having this conversation with Carl is bad. I think everyone should have this conversation before they get married. I think having it months before the wedding drunk is a bad idea.
Especially when he's telling you about a business opportunity he's like
Yeah.
excited to potentially take. Like, why not
And also
focus on just the opportunity and what he's excited about rather than the financials right now?
she's also just like putting him down. It's not even like
Yeah.
friendly.
Like, there's a way to do it, like we said. Like, it is good to like put financials as a priority conversation, but you should like sit down with your finances, or like before he takes the offer, like like what is the compensation package that you are expecting from this, like what do we need, type of stuff.
Yeah. So Carl says he will get a job, and Lindsay's like, amazing, because we need money for our future family. And
Okay,
Carl,
this is where I'm like calling back
she,
to the like, this show is a job too. Like, they are getting a good penny from this. I understand from the like social aspect, like having another job is a big piece, but like, you are getting paid a decent amount of money from this. Like, it's not going to last forever, and like, you do need to have things, but I also just think they're not making great financial like
that's it. I was going to
decisions.
say, you and I have talked about this. If we're on this show, we're probably keeping a job on the side. And
Yeah,
also, we're staying in our maybe we'll upgrade to like a $3,000 a month rent apartment, but
but
they're
not
paying
like, what,
12
10
grand,
grand?
12 grand for their apartment. They have a new car. They're traveling all
Mhm.
over the world. They have a wedding they're paying for in
Like,
Mexico.
I don't really want to hear that you're worried about financials when you chose to like get a 12 grand apartment. For what?
Lindsay's, yeah. And I mean, like, Lindsay's paying to freeze her eggs, which is also expensive, but like that I understand because many women need to do that, and that's
Yep.
great. I understand like wanting to travel and like go out, and fine. It's the new car in the $12,000 apartment for me.
Yeah, where
Could
I
have
feel
like
like
not
all
done that.
that is being blamed on, or like the burden is being put on Carl.
Well, I wonder because it's very what's yours is mine, babe. Is Carl like financially splitting the assets, or is Lindsay like, I'll cover it because you don't have a job? So maybe she's frustrated with that because she's like,
Yeah.
you gotta pay 50-50.
I after like seeing everything with Vanderpump Rules and knowing that like Ariana barely had money and Sheena didn't have money during the pandemic,
Sandoval has nothing. Can you believe?
I am more concerned about reality TV stars' finances more than I ever thought I would be.
Well, I don't think anyone teaches them like when you get this money, this is what you do.
Like what a recommendation.
It's
Yeah, I guess a
probably
lot of people I don't know what when, but like I mean I you just pick I picked things up slowly to be like, oh, I need an emergency fund and I need to start saving for things and like you here to like invest money in like 401ks and more traditional jobs. Like it
I
just
think
I guess
it's
you
just
kind
your
of
situations because like
yeah.
so I went through college and I had to learn to budget and sometimes I didn't
Yeah.
even have money for like a meal. So I really had to learn. I grew up learning how to save money.
Trial by
Paige has
fire.
remember Paige had her boyfriend situation where it was like she didn't pay for the tickets and then
The
he
plane
was in charge.
ticket.
So she's
Yeah.
like, I'm gonna have this side gig and like save up. But maybe
Hmm.
I mean Johnny Depp went broke after Pirates of the Caribbean because he just spent all his money.
Yeah.
Like, I think some people are just like, wow, money. We can afford this really nice thing. That's amazing.
Like
Let's
whatever
do
comes in
it.
comes out. It's not really about how much you make, it's about how much you're like saving.
That's the other thing. When you're on the show and you have a side gig, you're like, oh my God, we're making so much money. Amazing. Like,
Let's
that's
spend
great.
money. Hmm.
But you don't expect to get laid off. And even if Carl like does have a savings, Lindsay's like, if you never get a job, right? Because he's been out of a job for a hot minute at this point. If you
Yeah.
never get a job again and just rely on this, that's not going to fund our lifestyle, especially with kids.
Yeah, we'll have to adjust our lifestyle,
Yeah.
which
And Lindsay's very clear she does not want to do that
I get that. I like whatever lifestyle I have right now, like I want to maintain that.
forever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. So
Whew, that's
anyway,
rough.
Carl understands Lindsay is a go-getter, but it sucks not having your partner believe in you. He knows he can do it. He just wants Lindsay to believe that too. And I'm
I
like,
know. Just a
you
little
know who you
excitement, being like, oh,
married.
great. I'm excited you're passionate about something.
I know I want Lindsay to do it so bad, but he also knows who he's gonna marry, and that's just not it.
Well, and
But
here's another reason why he may not have chosen to marry her.
Lindsay is asking for Carl to figure things out quicker, and she tells Carl that's what turns her on. So not only are you professionally not it, you're also sexually not it.
That's the thing that I mean, their lack of intimacy is not just on Carl. I think she's not turned on by him either.
No, he's like, hey, can we have sex? And she's like, not till you get a job. And then
Oh my god. How
I
much
don't
money did
know.
you deposit into the joint account? Hmm?
So you took out 100. So that's 100 days without sex.
God.
Right? I don't know. What do we know? We're not in a marriage. We're not engaged. We're not splitting our assets, and also we're not Lindsay and Carl. We don't know. But ideally, that's why we have this podcast. We just talk about things we don't know about.
Well,
So,
I'm learning a lot through all these shows of things I don't want in my
mm,
life. Here's another
yeah.
one.
So next time on Summer House, we still are at the alien party. Wes and Sierra are together all night. He calls Sierra his girlfriend. Danielle and Gabby are both into Balloon Guy. Gabby's crying. Paige is yelling at Danielle. I wonder how this happens because Gabby, if we're not going to fight over Balloon Guy, we can't cry over Balloon Guy.
That's a thing. If and I don't I'm confused why Gabby is so upset. It just doesn't seem like she wants
It
this.
doesn't seem like that's the issue, you know?
Yeah.
But we'll see. Carl opens up about how he feels insulted by Lindsay to his parents, and his parents say, you shouldn't do it.
I'm so looking forward to this
Well, not his
conversation. I've been
parents. You know what I
dying.
mean.
Yeah.
Sharon and her husband.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, wow, I can't wait for that.
Oh my god.
Should we do fun, not fun?
Yes. Do you want to go first?
Let's do not fun first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I am gonna pick Danielle. I
Ooh.
think, though I support her being a player, I
Yes.
do think as the Gabby, just like if you already got two dudes, maybe be like, hey, Gabby's a great girl, and maybe throw her the
Yeah.
balloon guy.
The
Especially
consideration for her
just
friend.
consider it a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there was no need to go after Paige and Craig. I thought
No.
that was just a little harsh. For no reason. I just felt like you weren't involved. Why are we giving
Yeah.
opinions? And I think there's a way to give your opinion, right? Like, I think Danielle could have easily been like, hey, it looks like Craig just wants one thing, but like, you want a totally different thing. How is that working out? Like, what are your thoughts? Have you guys discussed that? Opposed to being like, you have his balls on a mantle. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah.
Like in that conversation, Kyle posed it more of like a question to Paige, like, "Oh, like this is
Yes.
what Craig told me. What do you think?" Whereas Danielle's like, "You're terrible."
Yes. I don't support the slander of like Danielle swooping in on Balloon
No,
Guy Joe, but I do think Danielle's I think she's a little off her rocker sometimes.
I agree, and I think
But
especially now, I think she's really in a selfish era, and it's like now
which
becoming a little destructive to her
oh my
friends.
god, me and my therapist talked about this because you know how we always say we're two of the most selfish people because we'll always do our
Yeah,
own thing.
in the good
And she's
way.
like, well, she goes, why don't, because I explained like I'm selfish, but it's not in a way that hurts other people. It's just in a way
Yes.
that prioritizes myself. She goes, I don't like that you call it selfish. I think you were just self prioritizing. And she goes, so let's
See,
change that narrative. But I think Danielle's being selfish because it's hurting other people and she's not realizing it.
destructively selfish because I think
Yeah.
selfish has such a negative connotation when it doesn't always need to.
Yeah, but she was like, just to change it, because sometimes you could be like, I'm being selfish, and then people can take that as negative. Just be like, I'm self
Hmm.
prioritizing. I'm the
I'm
biggest
taking
self
back the word.
prioritizer I know.
I'm making it a positive word. I'm being
I
selfish.
support you on that. I'm
Danielle
gonna
bringing a bad name to
bad.
selfish.
I support you. I'm gonna follow what my therapist says, but I think
Okay,
Danielle needs to self prioritize and not
I
be
agree.
selfish.
Okay, yeah,
Great.
I agree. Love the pick. I'm gonna preemptively reserve her for next week, and we'll see what
No, yeah,
happens.
that's
I'm just
great.
gonna
I
let
love
you
it.
know. Uh, but I am gonna go with Lindsay. I really needed her to be supportive to Carl on this one time. Like, I really thought we were gonna get some up and up where like it made sense why Lindsay was quote unquote blindsided and maybe she was gonna have a comeback a little bit. And we were gonna like, by the end of summer be like, oh, I see both sides. But I just at
Yeah.
no turn in this relationship do I feel like Lindsay wants to be in a relationship with Carl.
I still think you can be blindsided because you're Lindsay and you're delusional.
Okay, but
However,
I feel like it's going to be like the Oprah Winfrey question about being silenced or
were you
silent.
silent or were you silent?
Silenced. I feel like, did you have
Yes.
blinders on or were you blindsided?
Yes. Agreed. I totally agree. But I think again, Lindsay's gonna think her own
Yeah,
thoughts.
I agree. And I
Yeah.
disagree with it. Or I understand
Truthfully
and I
though,
disagree.
great TV. She kills it
I
each
just still
time
can't believe this happened. My like brain, I don't think it's fully comprehended that it's happened until I see it on my screen.
that they break up.
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
I also just I don't know. Again, I get it, but I'm excited to see what happens with like the bridal shower and
I
then he breaks up. That's
I
crazy.
can't
That's
wait.
ended at the end of the summer, my guy.
You couldn't script
You
it better.
knew. If your mom looks at you and goes, "Don't marry this person" in the summer and
I
you wait
know.
2 fucking months, bro, end it
Alicia,
now. End it
I
now.
I
That's
selfishly
where I'd
can't
be like,
wait.
"Carl."
I can't wait to watch this.
That is where I'm gonna go. Carl, end it. What are
I
we
know
thinking?
that's true. Good point.
Grow
So
up, Carl. End
who's
it
your
now.
who's your fun? Who was
Oh my
fun
god,
for
I don't
you?
know. Everyone was so fun. Honestly, as we say it, Carl really wasn't that fun. He's kind of
No.
like
Well,
furniture this
he's fine.
season. If
He's
you,
neutral.
yeah, he's not fun. He's not fun. Okay,
Mhm.
I'm honestly. Do you have one? Do you want to go first?
I'm gonna go Sierra. She's crushing on the
Sierra's really
outfits.
good. Yeah.
I love how she is not like frustrated to talk about the topic of her and West having sex, and she has great boundaries. Like she's not going to compromise those. Like she's not putting it a hard no. She's not putting it like put the pedal to the metal. She's doing it right. I need
Yeah.
to be more like Sierra.
Sierra, I think, is gonna have the best like overall season.
She's winning this season.
I'm gonna pick Gabby because on the ride back, I didn't even care if Gabby was here or not, but I actually had a lot of fun with her. Her just looking on the hunt for a man. I love it. I feel, but like not finding a man. Truthfully, I forget I'm looking for a man when I'm out because I'm just in my own world.
It's
so
very
I get
relatable.
It. Also, her wanting just everyone to set her up. I get it. Her also launching herself, falling twice. It was fun. She was drunk. She was having it.
About that.
Yeah, and now she's here and she's like, we're not going to fight over a man whose hobby is blowing up balloons. Like, it's just not a thing. And I get that.
Yeah. A girl's girl.
Okay. We have one thought from podcast by the people.
Nice. You crushed
We need a jingle or something. God. Okay.
Yeah. So maybe we need something where
that we play.
Sarah can just edit it right in.
That we play. Yeah.
Play.
So, Summer House thoughts. Lauren says, the way that Summer House has fully eclipsed VPR this season for me. Nice going, Summer House gang. Yeah, it's good vibes this season. We love.
Mm-hmm.
Part of why I'm enjoying the season is because the girls have been getting along. The drama brewing around Danielle does not make me happy, especially after watching her self-destruct on Winter House. I hated the Paige Amanda convo by the pool. I want good girly vibes all summer. Yeah, the swoop.
I hope this doesn't like splinter the group though. Like, I like Summer House a lot because we can have conflict and then we get over it because we get time away. So I am hoping that when they go back to the city and come back for the next weekend, probably in 2 episodes, this dies.
Yeah.
I don't want this to live on.
I don't want anything. Gabby has been a bit of a side character this season, but I'm loving her. The comments about her family were hilarious. Loved her standing up to Lindsay about Balloon Guy. Agreed. It's just a dude with balloons.
Yeah. And Gabby is back the rest of the summer. No more missing weekends from her, she said.
Also, just side note for why I accepted Gabby. I know what it's like for your parents to be obsessed with your relationship status, and it is not fun. It's extra pressure. Every time I go on a date, my parents are like, is he the one? And I'm like, he's not even like part of anything.
I already have that initial thought. I don't need other people to think
like
that.
The one, he's not even the 1,000. Like, what are we talking about? Get out.
He is on the first date, if that's the number one we're talking about.
He is one date and then cut off. He is the one who got one date. Fuck off. Yeah, so Lauren says, I can't say that I'm team Lindsay or team Carl. I'm team get yourselves out of this mess. That's where I am, Lauren.
True.
Team end it.
I am excited for Carl to just do something. Like, let's move forward with something.
I'm team get out of this. Get out of this mess. Lauren says, I didn't think Lindsay was at all out of line with the conversation at the end, especially considering that she has been drinking. But again, what the hell are these two discussing in therapy if none of their major red flags we are seeing have been discussed before? I truly don't think they are going to couples therapy. I think they're faking it because it's easy to lie to a therapist because I can also manipulate my way.
I crush it.
They are doing it.
I can't imagine having to confront a partner in therapy with your problems. Hell no.
Also, your partner does PR. Lindsay's spinning therapy any way she wants.
Carl has said that they went weekly. So, like, that is the time to drop this information that you like want to take this job with like, Carl or
They're
Kyle.
both lying. They're both lying. One of them needs to come forward and it has to be Carl and be like, we actually lied to our therapist. Something needs to happen.
They're like so scared to tell each other anything, positive and negative news.
No, it's terrible. It's absolutely
the therapist
terrible.
is like, oh, what'd you guys do this week? And they're like, we went on a walk. Nothing else?
This money conversation could have been a great thing to discuss in therapy.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people don't talk money pre-marriage. Like, you know, we both grew up Catholic, and part of the, like, if you get married in the Catholic Church is they require you to go through a course, and they talk about finances and kids and, like, really important topics that nowhere else are you actually like required to like
You
ever
have to
talk
take a
about this stuff.
course?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
To
never
get
getting
married in the
married in a
Catholic Church, you have
Catholic
to like sit
church.
down with a
I'm
priest and
never.
discuss.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
they take it a little further because they
Maybe
want you to
they
raise.
should have, though, because their therapist
Yes.
obviously doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That's the thing. A lot of people don't discuss finances and kids before getting married. Like this is a conversation that should happen, just not right now.
Now when
Not
Lindsay's
this
drunk.
setting, but like
Also,
sit down in therapy.
but okay, this happens. They then go to therapy. Let's say Tuesday. They walk in. Hey,
They
how was
say
your weekend?
nothing.
It was really good. We did the summer house. Okay, did you guys talk about anything? No. Both of them go no. Are
There's
they
no way she asked, "Did you talk about anything?" She's like, "How was your weekend?" And they're like, "We didn't fight. Yay!"
Okay, that's great. How's the job situation going? Which I'm sure maybe has come up. Are you still looking for a job?
See, I don't think the therapist is asking many questions because there's times where my therapist doesn't really ask me questions to lead the
Agreed, but
conversation.
she knows when you mention something, right? Have
I
you
know,
mentioned that
but
you hate your job? I've mentioned
me?
I hate my job sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I just blurt out a bunch of stuff. I feel like Lindsay would just keep the conversation going where the therapist
I feel
isn't
like
asking direct
this
questions.
therapist needs to pause and be like, Carl, how do you feel about that?
Lindsay, take a beat.
Lindsay is PR. The minute you said, hi, I'm Lindsay and I do PR, this therapist should have immediately went, well, she's not going to give us the full story.
I know. You know what I feel like this therapist needs to do if she wasn't doing it already? I mean, this couple isn't together in couples therapy anymore, but they each
They need to
10
go back
minutes
to couples
alone.
therapy. Sorry, what?
10 minutes alone at the top of each session with the therapist
Yeah.
and then come together so they could be honest with the therapist and then the therapist could help them bring up
Agreed. I
the
completely agree.
topic.
I support that. This is terrifying.
We really could
Anyway.
have saved this relationship.
Every time I think about their therapy, I just go, there's no way they were in therapy.
I
There's
need the therapist
way.
reunion, please.
Just to confirm they went. I don't know. So Lauren says, fun, Gabby, because she made me laugh, and not fun, Carl. I just couldn't handle how he reacted to the poolside combo at the end. Carl seems to also need a lot of reassurance in his relationship, which Lindsay, again, is not known for giving.
Yeah.
She's actually known for the opposite. So
reason 8 billion why they just don't work.
Terrifying. This is a terrifying relationship. Anyway, that was our episode. We'll be back again. How many episodes we got on this season? I always ask. It doesn't matter. We'll be back for the
I'm
next
guessing
episode.
we're gonna get around like 15. I think that's what we got last season. 14 or 15.
Great. I'm pumped for the reunion. I think that is truly where all of our questions will be answered.
I'm keeping my eyes peeled for when they film it, what that seating chart is. We want details.
Oh, I can't wait to look at the seating chart. We know I love looking at
the outfits
and outfits. We know I love to judge people's outfits when I have zero fashion sense of my own, of course. So great. So do all the things that I mentioned at the beginning. Join the Patreon. Thank you so much for listening. And we will be back again next episode.
Thanks for joining. Bye.